Welcome back, Honest Man, Skyrim, Survival. I'm here with vampire Daenerys Targaryen, and we're in pursuit of a moth priest. And who else than our good buddy Urag to put us on the trail?
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear? Hundreds of years have gone into assembling this collection. It's going to stay pristine, understand?
Yeah. We need to find a moth priest.
A moth priest? What in oblivion do you need a moth priest for?
God, always with the questions. Just tell me.
Fine. No need to get your britches in a twist. The obvious answer is to go to the Imperial City. The moth priests make their home in the White Gold Tower. Sometimes they go out looking for Elder Scrolls. Lucky for you, there's a moth priest in Skyrim right now, doing just that. He stopped in to do some research in the library, then left for Dragonbridge. If you hurry, you might catch him there.
Dragonbridge. Got it.
I heard you were at the wedding of the Emperor's cousin, in Solitude. Gosh, that must have been horrible.
You know anything about a moth priest?
So that was a moth priest then. He rode through town not long ago with an escort of soldiers. They didn't stop, just headed south, across the Dragon Bridge. I'll take my leave then.
Let's go, Serana. Yep. Vampire. Prepare an ambush just south of the Dragon Bridge. Take the Moth Priest to Forebear's Holdout for safekeeping until I can break his will. Signed Malchus. Alright. There's a big old blood trail here. This is a little disappointing, actually. We're going to finish this section here. Blood trail goes left. But it doesn't make a ton of sense to me that, like, some rogue vampire faction would be operating against or ambivalent to the interests of Harkon. So this feels a little lazy from a story perspective. Ah, puppers. I don't want to fight puppers. We'll just sneak on by. Pushed my luck. I was trying to check out the the model. Pushed my luck. But I take that to mean that there's Dawnguard here, not vampires. Just... Ooh, there's an armored troll over there.
What was that?
Get out of here with that crossbow. You got him?
This won't end well for you. Those vampires put up a hell of a fight. You think they turned him?
I don't know. Maybe. Won't know until we get him out of here.
How do we do that?
I'm working on it. Now give me some silence so I can think.
Okay, so there were vampires. Dawnguard beat us here.
Never took time.
That'll teach you.
There we go, Malchus. He has the Waystone.
But my master
I knew I heard something.
That'll teach you.
Use your vampire's seduction on the Moth Priest. Feed on the Moth Priest.
By the divines, it's as if my eyes have been opened. I am blinded by the light of your majesty. I must obey you. What would you have of me, master?
Travel to Castle Volkihar.
Certainly. Where can I find this castle?
Off the northern coast of Skyrim, due west of Solitude.
I will set out at once then.
Excellent. You're standing awfully close.
Well done. Somehow I knew it would be you who found our Moth Priest.
Indeed, I've made him my thrall.
Yes, I see that. I trust his capture was not too difficult a task.
There was some Dawn Guard, but they were no threat.
I wish I could have been there to hear the sounds of their screams. Well, your thrall awaits, and we have given him the Elder Scroll. Command him to read it, and let us hear the words of prophecy together.
How awkward for you.
Master, I have done as you asked and traveled here.
I have a new task for you.
Of course. What is it that you need me to do?
Yeah, read an Elder Scroll.
Ah, yes, the Elder Scroll. I admit, I am looking forward to this.
Then begin.
Of course, Master. Now, if everyone will please be quiet, I must concentrate. I see a vision before me. An image of a great bow. I know this weapon. It is Oriel's bow. Now a voice whispers, saying, among the night's children, a dread lord will rise. In an age of strife, when dragons return to the realm of men, darkness will mingle with light, and the night and the day will be as one. The voice fades and the words begin to shimmer and distort. But wait, there is more here. The secret of the bow's power is written elsewhere. I think there is more to the prophecy, recorded in other scrolls. Yes, I see them now. One contains the ancient secrets of the dragons, and the other speaks of the potency of ancient blood. My vision darkens, and I see no more. To know the complete prophecy, we must have the other two scrolls.
Life here has many advantages.
That was not as useful as I would have liked. Even so, you did well.
Any leads on the other scrolls?
My traitor wife stole one of them away and then disappeared. As for the other, the last that I heard, it was lost in the bowels of a Dwemer ruin. It seems our work is not yet done. But I have waited this long, and we are so very close now. I can wait a bit longer.
Do you have a moment to talk?
What's up?
That moth priest, Dexian. He said we needed 2 other Elder Scrolls. I think I know where we can start looking.
Why didn't you say something sooner?
Didn't want that lot getting wind of it. Especially my father.
Do you trust him at all?
It's not a question of trust. He's just obsessed with the prophecy. And from what I could tell, 1,000 extra years of obsession haven't made him any better. We should have found him a hobby. I don't even think he sees me as his daughter anymore. I'm just a means to an end.
So where's this Elder Scroll?
We need to find my mother, Valerica. She'll definitely know where it is. And if we're lucky, she actually has it herself.
You said you didn't know where she went.
The last time I saw her, she said that she'd go somewhere safe. Somewhere that my father would never search. Other than that, she wouldn't tell me anything. But the way she said it, someplace he would never search. It was cryptic, yet she called attention to it.
Maybe your mother didn't trust you either.
That's always a possibility. She was almost as obsessed as my father by the time she shut me in. But I can't worry about that now. We need the scroll, and she's our only lead. Besides, I can't imagine a single place my father would avoid looking. And he's had all this time, too. Any ideas?
Right under his nose, in the castle.
Wait, that almost makes sense. I used to help my mother tend a garden in the courtyard here. All of the ingredients for our potions came from there. She used to say that my father couldn't stand the place. Too peaceful.
Seems risky.
Oh, absolutely. But my mother's not a coward. That is, I don't think we'll actually trip over her there, but it's worth a look.
Okay. How do we get there without your father noticing?
Trust me, I lived here a very long time and I know every nook and cranny. There's an unused inlet on the northern side of the island that was used by the previous owners to bring supplies into the castle. An old escape tunnel from the castle exits there. I think that's our way in.
All right, let's go.
Come on, it's just around the side.
Okay, so Serana and I are just back from the Soul Cairn retrieving the Elder Scroll from her mother. And we're going to skip it because there was no significant changes to that quest whatsoever as a result of being a vampire. So if you want to check it out in full, I have it in my first playthrough, episode 35, entitled Soul Cairn. I'll have a card for that here if you want to check it out. But I did want to take a moment to chat with Serana because they really sort of railroad you into aligning against her father.
Yes?
Does it bother you that we're working with your father?
I figured it would be more of an issue for you.
Why would it matter more to me?
Don't tell me you're that naive. Really? Oh. Wow. Alright, well... What do you think my father's going to do once we bring the bow to him?
He'll celebrate our victory.
And I thought my father was the delusional one. At that point, you'll have given him everything he's ever wanted. He won't need either of us anymore.
But I'll be the daughter he never had. I'll have succeeded where you have failed. I've proved my value.
No, you've proven your strength to him. Which just makes you a more dangerous rival.
So what do we do?
I think you know. We both know what's going to have to happen once we find the bow. Keep strong and eyes open. We're on a different path now.
All right.
Let's go.
Yes, how may I serve you, milady?
I've brought the Elder Scrolls.
I am afraid I won't be able to help you with the scrolls any longer, milady. Please do not be angry with me.
What are you talking about?
I'm afraid in my haste to read the first scroll, I neglected the time I needed to prepare. The failure is purely mine to bear. As you can see from my bandages, it's not that I am unwilling. It's that I am physically unable.
You're blind.
Oh, please, milady. Please, forgive me.
I don't suppose there's a cure?
If only such a miracle existed, I'd overcome the impossible in order to secure it, if it meant pleasing you.
Then we have no further need of you.
Although I would gladly die by your hand, perhaps I could offer an alternative way to read the scrolls.
Go on.
Oh, thank you, milady. Thank you.
Just get to it.
Scattered across Tamriel are secluded locations known only as Ancestor Glades. There's one in Skyrim in the Pine Forest. Performing the ritual of the Ancestor Moth within the glade should provide the answers you seek.
What is this ritual?
It involves carefully removing the bark from a canticle tree, which will in turn attract Ancestor Moths to you. Once enough of the moths are following, they'll provide you with the second sight needed to decipher the scrolls.
Great. How do I do that?
In keeping with tradition, you must use a specific tool in the Ancestor Glade, an implement known as a draw knife. Every moth priest is taught this ritual, but few ever get the chance to perform it. You should consider yourself fortunate if it works for you.
Do I need to read these scrolls in any order?
From what I saw in the vision, the Elder Scroll which foreshadows the defiance of the gods with the blood of mortals is the key to the prophecy.
Great.
Fortune smile upon you, milady.
Okay, so once again we're going to jump ahead. The Ancestral Glade as well as the Retrieval of the Bow are both identical to my first playthrough, so you can check those out there. The Glade is at the end of episode 35, and the Bow is episode 36, Kindred Judgment. I'll have a card for that here. But for the purposes of this playthrough, we're just going to skip ahead to grabbing the bow.
It's not as shiny as I was expecting. Still, it's beautiful.
What do we do now?
Well, before we spoke to my mother in the Soul Cairn, I would have said we bring the bow to my father. But after everything with her, I don't think we can trust him.
But we have the bow. He'll listen to us.
Have you been paying attention to everything that's happened? He'll betray us the second our backs are turned. No, he has to die. We have no choice.
Then let's face him.
Thank you. Somehow I knew you'd understand.
So, you've returned. Is your pet keeping you entertained?
You know why we're here.
Of course I do. You disappoint me, Serana. You've taken everything I provided for you and thrown it all away for this pathetic half-breed vampire.
Provided for me? Are you insane? You've destroyed our family. You've killed other vampires, all over some prophecy that we barely understand. No more. I'm done with you. You will not touch her.
So, I see this dragon has fangs. Your voice drips with the venom of your mother's influence. How alike you've become.
No. Because unlike her, I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
And you. It appears I have you to thank for turning my daughter against me. I knew it was only a matter of time before your ambition outgrew your loyalty.
Right. As if you intended to let us live?
A small price to pay for the betterment of our kind.
You're an insult to our kind.
Oh, come now. Spare me your notions of kinship. You've simply used Serana in an attempt to take away what should rightfully be mine.
I would never use her like that.
The vampire is eternal, and with immortality comes the revelation that these bonds never endure. It's fleeting, momentary at best. Little patience for talk? Good. Let's end this. I'll raise the voice of your foe. Enough games. Let's finish.
Where's he at?
Now that's done.
What now?
I'm not sure. I'll probably stay here, for as long as they'll let me. I think we can rebuild here. Make my family's legacy something more respectable. Of course, if you've got any more adventures planned.
I don't think they'll involve you.
Suit yourself.
Lord Harkon defeated. I never imagined I'd see the day. My lady, you have my deepest sympathies. I am sure this was not easy for you.
He was out of control, Garen. It had to be done. I'm not happy about this. He was still my father. But I suppose my father really died a long time ago. This was just the end of something else.
Of course, my dear. All will be well now. My congratulations on defeating Harkon. Clearly, you are the superior vampire.
Indeed.
You are the new master. We bow to your power. A power which, I note, includes Oriel's bow. The castle, of course, is yours. We shall follow you, and help spread your influence across Skyrim. Until next time.
What now?
There was something about using vampire blood on the bow.
It sounds like... that's the last bit of the prophecy. The blood of a daughter of Cold Harbor can corrupt the bow.
Can I use your blood then?
Sure. Do you have any arrows, though? They would have to be of elven quality, I guess.
I do.
Let's just get this over with.
And that's going to conclude our Dawnguard expansion vampire quest line. A little anticlimactic. There ended up being a ton of overlap with just going with the Dawnguard faction, which was unfortunate. But nevertheless, I did want to showcase the bow a little bit. So I'm here in Whiterun just to show it off. So we just need to point the bow at the sun, and you can see the screen sort of flash a little when you have it centered appropriately. There it is. And this causes sunbursts to rain down around you, which are especially damaging to undead. So that's a thing you can do. Not great, obviously, against non-undead, but nevertheless. Now, the blood-cursed arrows work the same way. You want to point it at the sun. You can see it'll go sort of reddish, but still bright. And that blots out the sun during the day. So we can see that we still have our weakness to fire. That's not related to the sun per se, but our weakness to sunlight is gone, and it is daytime, and we're outside. So that's what the bow does for you, basically. You have Serana bloody up some elven arrows, and then you can blot out the sun, and it takes away the penalty for being a vampire in sunlight. And I think that's going to be a wrap. Not just for this episode, but for this character. I think I accomplished pretty much everything I wanted to do with Daenerys. Maybe not all I set out to do, but we went through the Dark Brotherhood quest line, we went through the Thieves Guild quest line, and got a couple other bits in there, so pretty happy with how it turned out. Now, one thing I did drift away from was the conversation around power leveling, and in particular, I completely omitted my endgame crafting here. So I do have plans for that. I am planning a third playthrough. I use that term lightly. We're not going to go all the way through. But a third character, and hopefully the third time is the charm, where I'm going to really focus more on beginning, middle, and end game, including crafting, and sort of right some wrongs, if you will, and apply some lessons learned from this playthrough, where I thought I had it right, but I don't think I did. So I hope you look forward to it. Until then, thank you all so much. Please like and subscribe. This has been Honestman, and I'll see you next time with more Skyrim.